How's everybody doing?
Tired?
Hey, listen, we're both very stuffy.
Yeah.
It's just because of allergies.
Yeah. Allergies have knocked you down for about 2 weeks.
There's like this small window every year. Like most of the time in the desert, there's no allergies. But there's like this 2 to 3 week window where it's like... bleh.
And then I always come after you. So it's like a whole month of...
It's rough, yeah.
Yeah.
So if we sound a little weird, that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So hey everybody, like we mentioned in the last video, we are preparing for maintenance week.
Mm-hmm.
Maintenance, well...
We really need it.
Well, maintenance window, we're not sure how long it's going to take yet.
Yeah.
We sat down with the kids yesterday and we made a whole list. A ridiculous list of things that we need to work on around here.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we'd talk about those a little bit, and as always, answer your questions. Anything else you want to say this morning?
No, I'm not awake yet.
Not awake yet? Okay.
I'm going to have to keep drinking or I'm going to keep coughing.
It's okay. It's early. Everyone's got their coffee anyway, so we're just hanging out, right? So, we're not going to answer questions yet, but hold on to those. We're going to talk about our maintenance stuff, and then we'll get to questions. If I can find all the...
Maintenance.
This massive list of maintenance. Okay. Should we start with random things around the homestead?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. The first thing is we have several small engines that need their oil changed.
Like generators.
Generators. We did do the quad, but I think the bike, the mini bike, needs an oil change too.
It needs a new spark plug.
Well, that too.
Add that
yeah.
to the list.
Yeah. We have a bunch of straw piles from the Burn in the Swale.
Those need to be moved because they're everywhere.
Gross. They're gross. They're like growing mushrooms.
It's good.
Yeah.
Mushrooms are good.
Yeah. And there's all kinds of... It's just... Yeah, it needs to be cleaned up. It's in the way. Chickens are going
It's
through
like
them.
right where we need to park the truck too, so
Yeah.
it's very inconvenient.
Yeah. So we're going to try to get those moved and cleaned up. We've got to clean our truck.
It's been almost a year since it's been washed. I don't even really care about washing it. I just need to like spray all the mud off. There's so much mud under there.
Especially after this monsoon season.
Yeah.
I mean, even still, when we're driving, there's still like some mud getting, thrown up on the bottom of it. It's just part of living out here. There's almost no point in washing the outside of your truck.
Yeah.
Almost no point.
Remember when we used to live in a house
Uh-huh.
and I'd wash the vehicles like every week?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I would never have a dirty vehicle.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And here we are.
That being said, spraying off the bottom of it hopefully will help with rust and stuff like that long term. So that's why we're doing that.
Well, it's just we're carrying around probably 100 pounds of mud. Seriously.
Probably.
Yeah. There's so much under there.
Yeah. We need to clean up our yard. It's such a mess. Oh my goodness.
Hey, remember when we lived in a subdivision and we'd spend every weekend cleaning our yard?
I do. There's stuff everywhere, guys. It's like months and months of not cleaning up. And
Well, just like random
just
tools out.
random, like it's just random stuff.
I don't know why we do that. Like, are we really in that big of a hurry that we can't pick up what is that called?
I don't know.
A rake? Like that rake has been sitting out by the shed for like
The
3
problem
weeks.
is when you pick it up, you gotta walk so far to put it up. That's the problem.
We're so lazy.
I know. You want to talk about your pork fat?
Oh, yeah.
All right, this is a weird question.
We got our pigs back from the butcher. We were hoping to be able to do that here on the homestead in the fall, but things are crazy. So we just took them to the butcher and got them back, and I have a whole box of fat to render down.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be working on that for like at least a week. I mean, it takes all day to render one load down, and that's probably 5 or 6 more.
How much goes in a loaf? So she's putting in an Instapot, and
I don't
I have
know.
a question. Is it Instant Pot
Instant.
or Instapot?
Instant.
Instant Pot. Okay. I always feel like I'm saying it wrong.
Okay.
So anyway, you put in the Instant Pot.
There's a slow cooker setting, so it's like I'm doing it in a crock pot.
For 8 hours.
Yeah.
And we have a big box of it, and it's going real slow.
Yeah.
So that's just sort of behind the scenes going on. And the main reason we need to do that because it's taking up too much room in the freezer, and we need to render it so we can store it in jars.
But also, we need to get through our pork relatively quickly because we just got 16 more meat birds.
Oh yeah, but we have a while for that,
we're
right?
12 weeks, so
okay,
hopefully
we'll just eat a lot of pork.
Ugh.
Ugh.
I can't eat that much pork. I was hoping that would last us a year.
Yeah, they're small.
I think it will. It was 179 pounds that we got back.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a good amount for small pigs, I think.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of pork. I need some variety. I can't just eat pork.
That's true. Yeah. The big one is the weeds.
Oh
the
my
weeds
gosh.
are directly related to our allergies, right? So there's just one weed that around this time of year it just shoots, and it can get 6 feet tall. I mean, they get massive.
Pigweed or
pigweed, amaranth. It's got a few different names.
Yeah.
And there are just like clusters of it all over the property that we need to pull up, and we're burning too, because like we don't want it to come back. We don't want those seeds to fly off.
I
And
can't pull
repollinate.
up all of it because there's so much.
I know.
Some of it I just had to knock down with a weed eater.
Yeah, but we're just trying to get to all the main clumps of it.
Let's talk about how we're gonna trim down all this.
Oh, yeah, our weed eater's really getting to work out.
It's I'm afraid it's not gonna last much longer.
It's possible. We may need to upgrade to something a little more industrial.
Need a brush hog.
Brush hog. What was the other
those
thing?
are in the budget.
The push.
It's a DR. It's
DR.
like
Yeah.
it's like a weed eater on
On wheels.
Yeah.
It's literally on wheels. Yeah. It's like a really big weed eater on wheels.
Yeah. So you push it, so it's a little easier on your back.
Yeah.
But it's just got a much thicker string in it, so it cuts a lot better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to borrow one, and it was awesome. So.
Yeah. It would definitely speed things up.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all the random stuff.
Okay. There's more.
Just the random stuff. It is time to do some fence maintenance. If any of you remember, one of the first things we did when we moved out here was we put in a 9-strand high tensile electric fence.
Yeah.
The only downside to the electric fence is that you don't want a lot of stuff touching it because eventually it draws that voltage down, right? So most of the year it's totally fine, but this time of year when everything's growing,
when the grass is 3 feet tall.
the grass is 3 feet tall, when the trees have all decided the limbs that we cut back last year, they've all come back with a vengeance, and now they're touching the fence line again. So we just need to do a perimeter run. We need to probably weed eat around the base line and get that all cleaned up. We need to trim back all the trees.
The thing is, too, with that, you really have to do both sides. Like, you have to clear both sides of the fence. So it's like you double your work every time.
You gotta do it twice, yeah. And we might even come back after weed eating with a propane torch and burn that line as well.
Yeah, depending on wind and stuff, but...
Yeah, because we've noticed that just trimming it or pulling it, like, obviously it comes back. And if we burn it, theoretically it should stop that long term.
Fence work.
Fence work. That's going to take probably like 2 days just to do that.
I don't even know if we would get it done in 2 days. It's bad.
It's a lot. It's 6 acres. I mean, it's a lot of fence to do. Yeah. We also have some solar maintenance. So now's a good time of the year to go back and test all of the solar panel mounts. Make sure that they're still all torqued down to the right specifications.
Before windy season comes.
Before windy season comes, yep. Also, I don't know if we talked about it a whole lot, but we did get used solar panels. We saved a ton of money that way, but this particular version, they're called cracked back solar panels, which sounds terrible, right? But basically that means that the white sort of vinyl on the back of it can get cracks in it over time, and then what could potentially happen is that moisture could get up inside there and weaken the electronics and draw the output of the panel down, right? So now that they've been in use for a year, we have seen those cracks start to form, so we're going to come back with some like elastomeric type paint. Is that what
Flex
it's called?
Seal.
Flex Seal. And just paint the whole backs of those. It shouldn't take super long, I don't think.
There's a lot of them.
Depends on how we do it, I guess. But
we're not taking them down.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we need to do that. We just need to make sure we do that before it starts raining again, for sure.
Yeah.
So now would be a good time to do that.
While it's dry.
While it's dry. Yeah. We have a few other things we can't talk about yet related to the solar system, but another thing that we're going to be doing is checking the water level in all of our lead acid batteries. So we have a few lead acid batteries. We have one for the fence. We have one for the feed shed system. Now we have one for the chicken garden system. Obviously, we've got one in our truck. And what we found after being out here a couple of years is that the heat is what gets these batteries. And I was actually talking to somebody at like O'Reilly's or AutoZone, and because they usually have a 2-year warranty, right? Mm-hmm. And we've had multiple lead acid batteries fail out here, like right at that 2-year mark. And he's like, "Oh yeah, that happens all the time." He's like, "Most people think it's the cold that gets these batteries, but it's actually the heat." Because the water that's in them evaporates, and then they just...
Well, like with the truck, it was like oozing out and corroding the connection.
Yeah, it was corroding the connections, it was slowing the charge down, and then so once the charge dropped down past a certain point, the battery was dead in the truck. Thankfully, we had a backup, or else it would have been stuck
So we need
here.
to check our backup too.
Yeah, well, we don't have a backup anymore.
Oh, you used
The backup is now in the truck.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So we need to get it back.
So we need to go back and check all those lead acids, make sure the water level is good.
Can we have a backup?
Probably get a couple of backup batteries.
We need to have that.
The desert is very tough on batteries. Yes, someone just
especially like we're one vehicle family. I mean, occasionally we borrow our friend's truck, but we really have one vehicle.
I know.
We need to have something available.
Agreed. Yes. Can't talk about that one either. Sorry, we've got a few projects we just can't talk about yet. All right, berms and swales. We've got a lot of things we need to do just sort of to come back through the berms and swale and make sure that they are still working right. So we're gonna...
Well, I've seen everything kind of settled on the berm. So like the basin where we put the trees in, we had like a nice basin around to where when the emitters or when we would water, like it wouldn't flow out. But now everything's kind of settled down.
With the rain that we've gotten.
There's no basin anymore. So we need to build up a basin. We need to check all the emitters. We need to add more compost around each tree.
Yeah, because that's all kind of, with the rain and the lack of the well, it's kind of flowed down.
Yeah.
Also, tons of that pigweed is like, we have a lot of stuff growing on the berms and the swales, and there's still weeds, but they're okay. But there is a lot of that pigweed that we want to get pulled up because it's growing really close to the trees.
Also, I've noticed that the pigweed grows in areas that are disturbed. Like anytime that you dig something up, that is a cluster of amaranths waiting there. Like, I don't know why, but like every hole that we've dug, there's huge clusters of amaranths.
Yeah.
So it's all in that swale, like a lot.
So we just want to make sure that those weeds don't pull the moisture that the trees are getting.
Yeah.
And like you said, we want to turn on all the emitters and walk down the whole thing, make sure none of them are plugged or clogged.
And a reason it clogs is our water is incredibly hard when we're getting it from the well. There's a lot of minerals, and that can clog those little tiny emitters. So we need to keep an eye on that regularly.
Yep.
Like probably each month we need to check that.
Yeah, and I think part of it too is like right now it's watering so early in the morning, we just miss it sometimes. Yeah, so we just need to turn it on manually and just walk the whole thing. Yeah. Just check it.
We'll do that after we make our basins and add compost.
Is that it? Oh, and last thing. When we did that 3-to-1 slope on the back of the swale where all the water is running into, and then you have the berm, we had such epic rain events that even though we have the 3-to-1 slope, we still have a bunch of head cut erosions that have formed on the back side of that we need to make sure we fix. And I think a lot of that is because we had to plant trees on the back side of the swale, which we weren't going to do, but we ran out of room. Long story. And so what's happening is the water's running and it goes around those trees, and then it creates these big cuts. Yeah. So we got to fix all that.
So much maintenance, and that's not even including all the other projects that we can't talk about.
Well,
why can't we talk about the solar?
We haven't really talked about it. And I think too, like, once we do this work on the berm and the swale, we probably aren't going to have to mess with it for a while.
I'm hoping not till spring.
Yeah, because the reason we're having all these problems is because we had these 100-year events over and over and over again, and it was just so much water that it created all these issues.
Yeah.
That the berm was so new, it just didn't have time to sort of get settled in to protect against that stuff.
Can I tell you something I'm excited about for fall?
Yeah.
I'm going to trim up trees. Just trees around our living space. I want to trim up the mesquite to where they grow tall and not bush. Yeah. I'm real excited about that. And when we trim them, we're putting those limbs immediately in the chipper.
Yes, the chipper. The chipper that didn't work great for the 2-year-old limbs will work great for the green limbs, we've been told. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Okay, the Airstream. We needed to clean the vents.
I need to clean everything in
the fridge needs defrosting because the coil is frozen over and it's having trouble keeping temperature. This happens when it's super humid this time of year.
Yeah. I can't wait to have a residential fridge.
I know, right? Our little ice co works great.
Yeah. I think it's because it's more temperature regulated in here.
Well, and another thing that we've already done, which we didn't really say as part of this, is that you had to empty the deep freeze.
Oh, yeah.
Want to talk about
that was the first time I ever got to dethaw a deep freeze. I thought it would be a lot more involved, but it was easy.
Did it go pretty quick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially it was hot out, so it all melted. There's a drain on the bottom, which I didn't see until the end because it was so covered up with ice. But yeah, that would work really nice. We could just spray it out next time with water and melt it real fast.
We had to do that because the pork was coming in 150 pounds? 179 pounds. So we had to, it was a mess in the deep freeze. Yeah. So we just been throwing stuff in there. It was real bad.
I need some organization tips on the deep freeze. I think I need more of those baskets that sit on the top, the ledge, because I could fit 2 more on there and it would organize it a little better.
Yeah.
Can I get 2 more?
Maybe. We'll see. No, we should be able to get baskets. Baskets we can get.
It won't fit in there right now until I render all that pork down anyway. So
that's
all
true.
The fat.
So we're also dealing with an issue with the pump in our Airstream.
We don't usually use the pump. The only time we use the pump is to run vinegar through the lines because, again, our water is so hard. We need to soak those lines with vinegar to get that lime and calcium.
It's a weird situation, right? So we're hauling water, we're putting it in the big tank. We're using actually the same RV pump to pressurize that water to come in the city water inlet in the Airstream, right? But because we have an instant water heater, is that what you call it?
On-demand.
On-demand water heater. especially in the winter when we got cold water, it's getting turned into hot water. It crystallizes that mineral and it gets stuck. Usually in just the heads of the faucets, but for some reason our kitchen sink, it gets stuck inside it somewhere.
And it's like one of those ones that are like really tall and arched.
It's like in the handle or something. And like there's no way to get to it. So the only way we've been able to deal with it is, like you said, we turn off the city water, we drain it all out, we put water and vinegar in the fresh tank, and then we pressurize the whole system with that. And then in like 2 minutes, it breaks it up and it comes out.
Yeah.
But
for some reason,
the pump is not pumping. And I replaced the pump yesterday, and it still didn't work.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going on. There's got to be.
There's something in the tank that's connected to the pump that's like
something's
it's not
clogged. I'm not sure. So we've got a call scheduled with her dad because he helped us install that whole plumbing
It's
system.
really an odd
I feel like
situation.
there's like a ball valve or something I'm missing somewhere that I can't find. I don't know.
I've never had to turn a ball valve. Anyway.
I don't know.
It's
very frustrated yesterday. Did not have a good day yesterday.
It was a really bad day yesterday. We were like all like, we're gonna record what we do out here, and like nothing went right,
No.
and everybody was really mad. So
hopefully today will be better. Okay, animals.
What about animals?
Adeline needs help moving some chicken feed.
Yes.
Into the trash can.
I'll do that today.
Oh, and you want to talk about some potential new animals that might be here?
Do you want to talk about how you said that we wouldn't get any more livestock animals?
Then we're not permanently taking them.
Wow.
They're to help with the grass problem.
Wow.
Meow.
Okay, so our friend and neighbor has 2 sheep, and I'm like, do they eat grass? And she said, yes, they do.
And weeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our goats will not walk through our grass. They are so pansy goats.
We went through this whole thing. We talked for years about getting this portable electric fence. It's like it's from Premier One. It's great.
Nice. Great fence.
Works great. We put them in there, and they just sit
They
on the dirt pile in the corner.
Yep.
They won't do anything.
They won't walk through the grass, especially if it's wet. I had to go into the fence and trim it all down, and then they would walk if it was trimmed down.
Yeah.
But then there's like nothing for them to eat then if I trim it all down, and it defeats the whole purpose of them being in there.
Yep.
So, my neighbor has 2 sheep, and she doesn't want them because they don't get along with her goat. Anyway,
They're causing some problems. Yeah.
I could keep the sheep in the portable net and run them around our yard and
Trim
mow it that way.
down. Yeah, that would be great.
So I'm not sure when they're coming. Hopefully this weekend. I don't know. I need to talk to her about that. But
yeah, we're hoping that they'll be able to bring them over and they'll just hang out here for a month or 2, and we'll just feed them a lot of grass and weeds, and life will be good. And you won't have to weed eat so much.
And also, our neighbor down the road said they could bring the horses over to eat. But we'd have to be with the horses so they don't eat the trees. Horses are too much work. Yeah, horses are too much work. It'd be fine if like the girls want to ride them down and like.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. They're very heavy, and they just create a lot of problems.
We're gonna have horses on the property.
Well, they will be on their own spot, their own area.
No, they're gonna be everywhere.
They should be over on the other property.
No. Remember, I'm gonna have a window in the house where we can feed a horse through the window.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
It's gonna be awesome.
Now, that's it, right? I mean, that's kind of our maintenance list.
But no.
That's most of our maintenance list that we can talk about right now.
I keep thinking of other things that we need to do while we're talking.
Shh.
I won't mention them.
Shh. Is there anything you can mention?
Well, we already talked. We got meat chicks.
Yeah, we got meat chicks.
That's an exciting thing. This will be our 2nd round of meat chicks. First winter round.
Yeah.
So what is this month? September, October, November. We'll be harvesting in December. So yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Got into our freezer. Get another freezer.
Where are we gonna put another freezer? In here?
Under your desk.
Hmm.
You could squeeze one in if we needed to.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to our live here.
Well, there was some questions from homies.
There was one question.
Oh.
Just want to make sure I get to all the questions here. All right, so we're going to answer questions, but we always answer questions from our Tiny Shiny Homies first.
Hey, who are Tiny Shiny?
Oh, gosh. Tiny Shiny Homies is our membership support thing. We talk about it all the time.
Our friends.
Well, we don't talk about it, but we put it at the end of every video.
Yeah.
Anyway, so someone asked about a lime wash plaster, because we're talking about final plaster coats. We're still trying to figure that stuff out. So you want to talk about our trip to Tucson?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was told from Jim and Jessica from Green Dream Project that there's this place in Tucson called, oh shoot, am I going to forget the name?
Originate
Natural Building
I remember.
Supply.
Yeah.
So we went there and guys, I could have stayed in that store for so long. There's so many things to look at, and they carry all the limestone plaster, which I'm very excited about for the house. Anyway, we got some real lime that you're supposed to use in this. It's called NHL, so it's natural hydraulic lime.
Or is no hydrated?
No, hydraulic.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because I thought it was already hydrated.
No.
No? Okay.
We got hydrated.
We're confused about the lime. There's a few different types of lime.
Well, before we got type S hydraulic. Now you got me all confused.
Yeah.
Hold on. What we got at the originating place was natural hydraulic lime.
Okay.
That comes from overseas. It's really expensive. It's like $80 a bag. So that's why a lot of people don't use it. It's incredibly expensive to use.
The problem is that the other lime we got, for it to be
slaked.
For it to be effective, it has to be soaked in water for a really long time, like months, right? I mean,
well, the longer the better.
Yeah, and this lime doesn't. It's ready to go. As soon as we throw a little water in it, it's ready to be used.
So anyway, we got that. We got a little bit of colorant because I don't want white walls.
Sure.
And we are going to try that lime wash to see if it fills in those cracks that are on the wall, because it would be really nice if we didn't have to go over that entire area that we already started plastering again.
Yeah.
Which we may still have to, but at least I want to try this lime wash and see what it does, if it fills in those cracks.
So yes, we're definitely thinking about a lime wash. Is the short answer.
Sorry.
No, it was good. That's really good. And we can potentially use that lime in our plaster mix, right?
Yeah, I don't
think
I would, but it would be real expensive.
Yeah, it would be really expensive.
But if we could just do a lime wash over it and get the benefits from the lime, it would go a lot farther if we just did a wash.
Yeah, and the question is, because when there's cracks, it's kind of already compromised. Like if we can get it on there before the cracks get too deep or before it starts to pull away from the wall, then I think we'll be okay. But if we're trying to wash over areas that are already pulled away from the wall, I don't know if that's going to help or not.
No, we would still need to fix those. But I don't think any of them have pulled away from the wall in the chicken garden.
I don't know. I have to go look. It's been a while. We haven't looked at it in a while. We've been busy with the pump house.
But there are some other techniques I want to try on the final plaster, and I'm really excited to get to do that because we don't have rain in the forecast for quite a while, so.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to get back on that. But it probably won't be done till spring. I'm not gonna plant anything till spring.
Right. Well, that's actually one of the first questions is when will the chicken garden have chickens and plants?
When it's finished. And I have no idea when that will be.
I will say, I'm pushing real hard to get the chickens in there as soon as possible.
I know.
Because of some other projects we have coming up. And also just the berms and the swales, like they're under attack constantly from the chickens.
Well, I told you we could switch and stop doing the outer circle and do the inner circle and the coop first if you want to.
We might need to do that.
That's fine.
We might need to pivot, to use a tech term.
Our whole life is a pivot.
Pivot.
I don't like that.
It feels very like businessy, doesn't it?
I don't like that.
Okay, let's see. Questions. Have we had cows get through our fence? Like once?
We had a little baby calf get through our fence, like
And
right after we got it.
And a teenage cow too. That was the teenage one. Then we had a baby one not that long ago.
Also, I left the gate open one day and we had 4 in here. They were up at the chicken garden, or the
driveway.
the cactus garden area, where I have 5 trees, and they didn't mess with them at all, which I'm so thankful for. But we like chased them out. They went out pretty easily.
Yeah, but for the most part, no. We actually were talking about how they're like all around us right now, and they're so loud, but they don't get them.
No.
And if they do, it's usually a small one that got separated from its mom, and it's trying.
And then
to
it jumps right back through the fence.
Yeah.
But it doesn't hurt our fence.
Yeah. Vinegar and salt to clear plants from the fence line after the cut. I don't know. I don't feel like that would.
I feel like it'd be a lot easier to just
torch it.
We'll see. I don't know.
Just torch it, yeah.
I'm not using chemicals, so that's out of the question. But we need something just to keep it down at least till spring,
Yeah. Okay. Oh, we have a few tips here. Have sent some money for a treat for 9/9.
We'll get them.
Thank you. Amanda says, hope you have a great weekend. Thank you. What is thread lick? I don't know. Panel screws. Oh, it's probably talking about the solar. The solar torquing.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I think for the wins that we get, it's probably good to check the torque no matter what, every year at least, for sure. Because we know people that have had their panels get blown off before.
Yeah.
And it was partially insulation error, but just in case, like, we just want to make sure that...
Yeah, I mean, it's good to check them.
Yeah, a panel like that could cause damage to a neighbor, so we want to make sure they're not going to blow anywhere.
For all our neighbors.
Well, we're moving in. Let's see. Oh, thread lock. That's what he was trying to say. Someone says, yes, Arizona is very hard on batteries. True.
That's something we didn't know before we lived here. Like, I didn't even think about it. I mean, I knew it gets crazy hot, but
right.
I didn't think about the batteries leaking.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense when you think about how much water evaporates out here. Yeah. Someone says, do you have an emergency drain in case the pipes break in the pump house? Yep. There's a little, it's actually right next to the low point drain spigot that we put in. So water could just flow out if it needs to. Tobias says, go have breakfast together. Thank you. We will.
Aww, we were just saying we should go to the coffee shop.
Yeah. Have you tried any leaf cutter ants? Ants?
We have a million ants. We don't need to bring more ants in here.
That wouldn't be good. That could go wrong real quick.
Yeah. We have so many ants.
It's like one of those sci-fi movies where you bring them in to do a job and they take over.
Yeah.
And they run the whole place. Someone says, well, why can't you get battery acid for a refill and recharge them? So these are not AGM batteries. They don't have the acid in them. They're just lead acid, which basically means there's a water reservoir that you can put water in. So you're not putting acid in them. Did you know pigweed is edible and can be used as a medication?
Yes.
I would never do that. I hate it so much.
It's like, it really bothers us.
Yeah.
So, when I had pigs, they would eat it. Goats eat it, but we can't give them too much of it. So, and we just have an insane amount. Like, if I ever needed some, I could go down the street and pick some. Like, I don't want it here.
Yeah. Put a small wooden box to cover between the tank and the pump. Yeah, we said that's something we still have to do. There's that one little area with the ball valve that is kind of, if it was ever going to freeze, that would be where it freezes.
Let's make an earth bag building. Let's make an earth bag
little
cover.
tiny earth bag. No, we'll build a little insulated box to put over it. Let's see.
It's gonna look better with her bag.
Or not. Unless we use those little 8-inch bags.
Yeah. The soup can.
Yeah. Someone says magnets around the water inflow pipe helps. Actually, it doesn't. We put those
We
on
tried
there.
that.
Didn't do a thing. Yeah, unfortunately.
At least not for us. Like we just have. It's so hard.
It's real bad. Yeah.
We're gonna have to really think about. Of course, when we're on rainwater, it won't be as nearly as bad, you know.
Yeah. And someone's asking about filtering. Yeah. Once we get to the house, like we're gonna have a whole filtration system. Like or probably a water softener. Like we're gonna have to set it up.
I don't like soft water.
I know.
But I think when we're on rainwater, it won't be as bad. So I think
theoretically.
Hopefully we can just be on rainwater.
But I think either way, we're going to need to have a really good filtration system built in. Yeah. Someone said milk crates are good for a freezer.
Yeah.
They might be too big though. I don't know.
Our freezer's very tiny.
Sorry, reading. Oh, there's that question again. What happened to Brooklyn? Guys, we got an outdoor dog. It didn't work out. We rehomed her.
She bit us a lot.
She was very aggressive and caused havoc in the animal paddock, which was the opposite of her entire purpose. She was supposed to be a guard dog. So anyway, she's doing great though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's good.
If we get another guardian dog, I want to get an old one that's experienced and like just wants to live out its days here.
Yeah, just hang out. Yeah.
I don't think I can do a guardian puppy right now.
Someone says goats are browsers. People think they're good weed eaters. Not so much. That's what we.
They actually do eat the weeds a lot. They just don't want the grass.
Yeah,
the browsers, not grazers. So.
Someone says stop feeding them. They will walk the grass to eat. No, they won't.
I promise you, they will not.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about our goats, but like.
Yeah. Someone says it amazes them how fast the meat chickens are ready for harvesting.
I know, it's
100%.
Kind of creepy how fast they grow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
but
weird.
They taste
good. Yeah. Let's see.
See, if we had a cow, we could move a cow around the property, and it would eat the grass really well, and then we wouldn't have to pay for feed. I'm serious.
I know I want a cow too, but just not right now.
Well, if the sheep don't work out, I could get a baby cow.
Yeah. Maybe.
Right.
I don't know. We'll see. We have so many other things to do first.
I know, but we're gonna move the sheep
I totally
anyway,
want
so
a
it makes
cow.
sense just to get a cow if they don't work out, because it's the same amount of
You're
work.
gonna keep it in the electric fence?
Yeah.
You think it'll keep it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But people move cows in electric netting all the time. I'm serious.
Do they really?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't think it was tall enough.
It's perfectly tall enough.
Okay.
People do it with one strand of electric.
I thought they made a taller one for bigger animals.
They do, but you don't need it.
Okay.
It doesn't blow me.
Sorry. Oh, perches in the coop.
What about it?
I said, why haven't we built them?
Because we're not done plastering. That comes after.
Yeah, we'll build some.
Yeah, we'll build something. Hopefully not complicated, but the one I want to build is a little complicated.
Yeah. Someone's asked about reverse osmosis water systems for the house. So, I don't know what filtering system we're going to use yet, but I do know that reverse osmosis wastes a ton of water.
Right, but you can plumb it and run it to where the
It
wastewater
recirculates.
recirculates, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm sure we could figure out a way to like reuse it as gray water too.
It's like a whole thing that we don't have brain space to think about right now. We can't think about the house stuff until the Airstream's moved and these two major projects are done. The chicken garden and the Airstream moved and situated. Then we can think about the house.
I do know we looked at that for the Airstream when we were renovating the Airstream, and it creates, I don't remember what percentage, it was like for every gallon that you filtered.
I think it's 2 wasted. Like,
it was insane.
You get 1 filtered and 2 wasted.
It was a lot of water waste, which wouldn't have worked in a mobile application, obviously, but we might be able to make it work in the house. But that's kind of where we ended up on that research 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. So things may have changed.
We'll get back to that soon. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't dedicate brain space to that right now.
Sorry, hold on.
I feel like I need to fill space.
I know, I'm sorry, hold on.
I need someone in here to read questions.
Well, similar question. Are you going to buy a filtration system or build your own? I don't know yet. I'm not sure. Probably a combination. I'm sure we'll end up taking various pieces from...
I do want to build a solar water heater, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Someone asked, could we have done the swales with no professional help?
If we wanted to spend a year on it, yes.
Well,
Can you imagine digging that by hand?
Well, no, I think what they're talking about is the planning of it. Like, I think even with all of our research, there was so much in terms of calculations for the sizing. Like,
I think sizing would probably have been our main issue. Like, if someone told us, hey, you need to make this 7 foot wide and a 6 foot berm, we're like, yeah, we could have done that.
right.
But it helps so much having Rudy there to, like, tell us exactly each step. And
yeah, I think the actual, like, physical doing of it
mm-hmm.
wasn't necessarily that difficult. I mean, it's a lot of, like, physical labor, but it wasn't that difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But the planning of it, like learning your land's contour, and I mean, this one berm and soil that we have is tied into our entire permaculture plan that he helped us design. So it's put in a specific place for about 30 different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't think we could have done it, and I think that the benefits that it's gonna provide long term are gonna be compounded by having worked with someone who's taking all those things into account, and who's like, we're not just throwing a ditch on the property. Like, there's a lot of thought behind it for sure. Yeah, and like you said, I mean, if it's not sized right, it's either gonna overflow or it's not going to capture enough water to do what you need to do. And one of the reasons this one is so big is because it is going to fill a swimming pond eventually, right? So that's why ours is so deep and the berm is so high. It's because it has multiple functions. It's a lot of math. It's so much math, like runoff coefficients and like I have no idea where Rudy even found all that stuff. Totally, yeah.
We'll just implement it.
Are we raising rabbits for food? No.
It's too hot here. We gave away our rabbits because one of them died in the heat the first summer, and I didn't want to do that. Like, if you have a setup where there's a fan blowing on them or air-conditioned area, it's just way too hot here. Even I put them like right near a shade tree.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't handle the heat, and I didn't have a good enough setup, and that's just not fair to them to do that.
Also, based on how much it costs to feed them, I don't think it's worth whatever meat you
well,
would get out of them.
also, we ended up without a buck. We were told we had
That's true.
2
If you're gonna
does and a
breed
buck,
them, yeah.
and so we couldn't breed them anyway.
Yeah.
So we just gave them away.
Anyway, they're expensive to feed. They don't provide a lot of meat. I don't know. They don't seem like a great investment to me.
Well, the original plan was to raise them for meat.
Right.
And now I don't think I could do it. I've never had rabbit. I don't know that I could eat a rabbit. I don't know. Also, if anybody needs a rabbit hutch in the area, hit me up because we need to get rid of that.
That's true. We still have it, yeah. Are we thinking of having bees?
I would love to have bees, but nothing else that requires so much time until after the house build.
Yeah.
I do want to learn beekeeping.
Yeah, one day. Do you have to do a test on soil composition to determine if it will work for earth bag building? You should always do a test on your soil for sure to see what the makeup of it is, because that will help inform you on the best way to build, right? You might find that you have too much clay and you would be better off doing like a cob building as opposed to an earth bag building. So yeah, I think it's really important that you don't even have to like send it off. I mean, you could totally we just did a jar test. Yeah, you don't have to do anything super scientific.
And just experiment. Like some people just, also you're all over, depending on your property, I guess, but like we had test holes dug all over the property, and like the composition is totally different in different areas. One area had a ton of clay, one was all sand. Like even in that pit, the left side is sand and the right side has clay.
Yeah.
So like you just have to work with what you got.
Let's see. How close are you to your next dog, and are you staying with the same breed? You're just gonna have to watch and find out. I mean, we can't give away all our secrets.
Well, I mean, we're about what, 10,000 away?
About 9,000.
Almost 9,000
Yep.
away from
so we're getting close.
another puppy.
Yeah, yeah. You're just sorry, can't tell you yet. Do we have a constructed wetland? I'm not sure what that means.
But something else, someone on the Berman swale video that we put out, someone suggested that we put fish in our swale.
Fish?
Yeah.
Like live fish?
They said native fish.
No.
We can't do that. The water doesn't stay in there for more than like 20 hours.
Yeah. And most of the time those swales will be empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now in our pond, yes, we will have fish when we have a pond to eat the mosquitoes, and because I want fish in the pond. But in the swale, the water isn't meant to stay in there. It's meant to drain quickly. So yes, in the pond.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. I think that's all the questions so far.
Good job.
Do you all have any more questions for us?
There's lots of things we want to talk about. We just can't yet.
We're not quite there yet. There are lots of things in planning and in progress that we're excited about, but just nothing to share quite yet. Yeah. Unless you're a homie.
Unless you're have a telehandler that we could rent. Yeah, we have some big projects coming up, and I'm excited to get those recorded and out eventually. But
dealing with some supply chain issues. So yeah, slowing us down a little bit, but hopefully we'll get it figured out.
Yeah. So we're just concentrating on the maintenance, getting things caught up here on the homestead so it's not so trashed. And yeah, then we'll get back to the chicken garden and our other project. Be bouncing back and forth.
So many projects.
Yep. But it's an exciting one.
Do we have bats?
Yes, we have one bat.
What's his name?
George.
Yeah, we call him George. We don't have a lot of bats. Someone was talking about bats will help with the mosquito population, which other than, I think this is the first year I've ever seen a mosquito from all the rain, but they'll be gone soon, I'm sure. I mean,
also, I do want to build bat houses.
Yeah, we'll probably build bat
houses. Owl houses. Like, I have plans to build all these things, but not until after that.
Yeah.
Getting there.
Oh, someone said, what does it take to become a homie? That's a good question. We don't talk about it a lot.
We're the worst salespeople. We can't do it. But if you want to look it up, it's tinyshinyhome.com/homies.
Yep. So it's basically just a membership area.
Yeah, so
it's kind of like Patreon, if you're familiar with Patreon.
Yeah, and there's all different levels from $3 to $50. So there's all different levels you can sign up, and you get early access to our videos and behind the scenes what we're working on that we can't talk about here.
Yeah. So usually our videos come out in the morning,
Mhm.
the day of, but homies get access to those the night before.
Yep.
Like you said, we do a weekend update every weekend where we
Mhm.
just kind of walk around and show you what's going on and talk about things that are coming up. At a certain level, we send you a sticker.
Uh-huh.
At the next level, you get your name put in the credits
Uh-huh.
at the end of the videos,
Mhm.
and you get a sticker.
Uh-huh.
And you get access to several of our products, like our solar wiring diagram, a few other different things, and then I think that's pretty much it. There's just there's a few higher than that, but there's not any extra. It's just like you just want to help us out.
Yeah.
That's
So
it.
yeah, that helps us to continue making weekly, daily videos.
Yeah.
Because it helps us a lot.
It does. And also, YouTube is great, but there's always a possibility that they could change something and it could drastically affect the income that they're providing to us. And so it just sort of gives,
Like a backup.
yeah, it gives us a way to create a backup and for you to get some extra content.
Yeah. Also, we used to do like homie only lives. We need to get back to that sometime.
Now that there's more, yeah. We
Yeah.
did it for a while, but there wasn't quite
There's
enough
only like
people.
2 or 3 people
It was a
that
little-
would come.
yeah.
So, which is fine. But yeah.
Yeah.
We need to get back to that. It'd be fun.
Anyway, that was a long answer.
I don't
Mindy.
remember what the question was.
Mindy sent us another tip. Thanks, Mindy.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome.
Take the kids out for drinks and
Scums
scones.
and drinks, yeah. So someone's asking about putting, in this case, blueberries on the berms. We have lots of people who are like, why didn't you plant
Fruit trees.
food on the berms?
Because these are windbreak species.
Wind and fire break. They are drought tolerant. They are made for hard freezes.
Mm-hmm.
And to grow as quickly as possible with as little water as possible.
So our top criteria for these trees was wind and fast growing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they can break up the wind and grow fast.
And remember, we only have a 2,600 gallon tank currently to water all of this with.
Fruit trees would need a little bit more water.
Need a lot more
and
water, yeah.
Also, even if I did have fruit trees, I have no place to store food. Like we live in 200 square feet. It's very hard to store any amount of food past what we can fit in our airstream. So, I mean, we do have some things in the shed, but there's really not that much room in here. We have a lot of stuff in here, and it's Johnson's office and my office, and we can't have like mounds of
food
stuff
in
here. Yeah.
So long term, we definitely want to do all that
We'll
stuff.
have a food for us eventually. It's just
it's not practical at the
our
moment.
top priority is shelter. We need a bigger house.
Yeah.
I can support our community and buy fruit and veggies from.
Yeah, that's true. Yep. Someone said, "Can you let us know where we're moving the airstream?"
Over here.
Yeah, that direction. That probably doesn't help you. Don't worry, we'll have all the videos about it when we start moving it. Lots of information there.
Yeah.
All right. What's the weather like today?
I don't know. I mean, there's a nice coolness in the air.
We're down under 90 degrees every day,
Mm-hmm.
and the wind has cooled back off.
Yeah.
So it's.
What's the temperature? You have it on your watch?
Hold on. It's at 70 right now.
It felt amazing this morning when you walk out and it's like that crispness, like you almost need a jacket. I can't wait for jacket weather.
It definitely feels like something has turned
Mm-hmm.
in the weather. Like the clouds are starting to go away. Like it was for a while there. It was just like clouds everywhere all the time.
Awesome.
It wasn't.
It's great
It was a
for
lot of rain.
working, not so much for solar.
Let's see. Someone asked, if we listed anywhere what trees we chose. I think
can
we
tell you.
only did that on the video, right?
I can tell you.
Actually, if you go to tinyshinyhome.com/trees, there is a map,
And it's got a
and
key.
there's a little key on there that lists all the different trees.
Yeah.
Yep. Sorry, forgot about that.
Is that it? The kids are looking forward to going to the coffee shop.
Oh, are they? Do we need to wrap it up?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Also, I am looking forward to going.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just reading them. Someone's asking about cards from the kids.
Oh, they're currently working on a Christmas edition of their desert cards. So hopefully, you said November? Beginning of November?
Yeah, Jack's tried to go to the market and sell some, and I think it's a little too early for Christmas cards.
Yeah.
Well, weren't they doing Halloween ones?
She just did that as a custom order.
Oh, it was for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She did these really cool I did cactus that had like a sheet, like a ghost thing on it.
Yeah, it was
like
cool.
Yeah, it turned out really good.
Yeah.
So she sold some of those to a friend, and then
The Christmas ones are going to be
the
real
Christmas
cool.
ones are really cool.
Yeah.
They're trying to get a big stock of them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. When do you guys think? When do you buy Christmas cards? We were thinking after Halloween.
Yeah, I think at least.
But then you've
after
got like
Halloween.
Thanksgiving. Do people wait till after Thanksgiving?
No,
I don't know.
no, I don't think so. I think
November?
after Halloween will be like a good time to start
Okay.
selling them.
Yeah, they look really good, and I think they just bought another pack of like 200 cards, so they're gonna have plenty.
Yeah. Oh, someone's asking about your dreads. They said, do you do your own dreads?
I don't do my own dreads. They
Well,
just,
you did when you started them.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I helped start them. They're just very free form.
Yeah.
I don't mess with them. I just pull them apart now. I probably should mess with them, but I don't.
Mm-hmm. Someone says if you build a nice big carport for your Airstream, you can use that for rainwater collection.
Yes,
That's exactly what we're doing.
We
Yeah.
have a big, how much was it? 3,000 gallon?
Yep, the tank is already here.
3,000 gallon tank out there
The
ready.
materials for the building are already here.
We're just waiting on equipment.
The equipment is not available anywhere in the immediate area, so we're still looking into some options there, so we can start putting.
Yeah, so if you live in Cochise County and you have a telehandler, shoot us a message.
If you know somebody. Let's see. Are
How
there
many people did you call? You called like 7 businesses yesterday or
7
something?
to 10? Yeah, and
And
they
no-
all laughed at me. Like literally, half of them laughed at me.
Yeah, nobody has it available.
Yeah. Are there a lot of coyotes at night?
Yeah.
Well,
They're just coming back.
not usually, but just recently they've started coming back. Yeah.
Yeah. We hear them a lot more in the winter, like as the sun's setting.
Yeah. Oh, Jennifer sent us a tip. Thanks, Jennifer.
Oh, thank you.
Do we have plans drawn out for the house? We're working on it.
Our plans have changed.
Your plans
Can
have
I
changed.
say that?
They have changed. They're probably going to keep changing.
I don't know. I'm pretty set on this one, but you never know.
Who knows? All right, we are right at an hour.
Okay.
So I think we're going to call it.
Yeah.
We're going to maybe go
Sometime this morning. I'm not sure.
get
we got
something.
to do.
We got stuff to work on. We got a lot to do this weekend.
We're hoping that today is a little bit better than yesterday because
Whew.
we haven't had a day like that for a long time.
Just nothing went my way yesterday.
Nothing
I feel like
went.
you guys did okay, but I was just everything I worked on just didn't work out.
We had all hard stuff. I had cutting weeds.
Well, yeah, I mean that sucks too. Yeah.
Yep, it does.
That's okay. It'll be all right.
You want to go buy a DR today?
Maybe we'll see. Maybe this weekend.
Okay.
Okay.
Guys, thanks for hanging out with us.
It was good to see you all.
Oh, we didn't get seen.
I was gonna say it's good for you to see us, but that's just weird.
That sounds
we
weird.
won't say that. No, it's good to talk to you all.
Yeah.
Hopefully that'll hold you over the weekend, and we can see you again on Monday.
Is there something that, like, where you can see people, I know Zoom.
It's called Zoom. Yes.
I know, but like, besides Zoom, is there like a way to like see who's watching and like talk that way? Is that only Zoom?
If you're on a big computer screen, you can see a little bit more. But I mean, at this point, there's like 400 something people watching. I don't know how you would show all that.
And that would be really fun if we could like talk.
That's what the live chat's for.
I know, but we don't.
You can type back in a live chat if you're on a computer.
I know.
I feel like we're rambling.
Sorry. Never mind. We'll talk about this later.
Okay.
All right.
Everybody, thanks so much for hanging out. Have a good weekend.
I was going to salute because you saluted last time, but then I felt dumb, so I couldn't do that.
I just did it.
Okay.
Bye.